TV, the program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope and a new Nigeria is possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. Today, we've come again to have a discussion on the things that are happening in Nigeria. As you know, some days there are good news, some days that there are bad news. But of course, today we have the good news and we also have the bad news. The good news first, which is that Chief Bola Tinubu has regained the use of one of the Nigerian private jets, that is presidential jets. Yes, the information coming in is that the Chinese firm Zhongshan has released one of the presidential jets for him to travel to France to meet the president of France, Macron, to see how they could be able to resolve some of the issues since they are disposed to amicable discussion. And of course, we also have a break-in that U.S. Court of Appeal has rejected Nigerian sovereign immunity request which authorizes Chinese investors to proceed towards seizing all Nigerian assets abroad. This is going on, and maybe it's a bad news on the other hand, which is they are going towards several countries, about 8 countries for now. That is the Chinese firm that is targeted Nigerian. But of course, they have initiated plans to take all the assets of Nigeria in the UK, US, and 6 other countries. And we'll also be bringing you one of the revelations that came out, or a report that Chief Bola Tinubu is now riding on a 2024 Cadillac Escalade. I mean, of course, costing up close on 1 billion naira. And he's telling Nigerians to be patient, that things are going to be fine. And we're going also to talk several other things, like the police in Nigeria who has commenced a protest. Yes, of course, police now protesting after they have tear-gassed Nigerians who protested against bad governance. They are now protesting. I don't know who is going to tear-gas them. And we're also going to talk about more and more things that are happening in Nigeria if the time permits. As we also know, talking about protest, we also heard that yes, on weekend, the FCT minister ordered police once again to disperse local contractors who were protesting in Abuja for unpaid money of over 5 billion that they tear gas them. They used tear gas again on protesters innocently. Innocent protesters or peaceful protesters in Abuja. And to discuss all of this with me, I have well-meaning Nigerians who are joining me on Zoom. But before we get to our guest today, let's start with what is happening in the United States as our present. And of course, I'm going to take you through what transpired with this very Chinese firm. An appellate court in the United States has rejected Nigerian sovereign immunity and authorized the Chinese consortium that we talked about to proceed with its effort to confiscate Nigerian assets abroad, aggravating a crisis that Chief Bola Tinubu has been trying to manage in Europe and prevent from spilling to other jurisdictions. The decision on August 9, 2024 came after judges of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia in Washington found that Nigeria had gruesomely violated both fundamental and commercial rights of executives of this Chinese firm that had entered into a trade zone agreement with Nigeria. The Chinese workers of Zhongshan had approached this U.S. judicial system to retrieve an outstanding arbitration award for breach of contract after it initially winning their case in the United Kingdom in 2021. The Chinese experts were awarded $55.6 million in compensation from Nigeria and $75,000 in moral damages alongside interest and legal arbitration fees. Now, of course, we also want to inform you that some of the allegations that came out from this U.S. court has to deal with the issue of how the staff of this Chinese firm were deprived of food while they were in Nigerian prison. They were actually withheld out of their own consent. They were beaten, they were molested, so many things that they alleged, and was upheld by the US court. But let me quickly get you the timeline of this event, for so many people has called that they want to know what actually transpired. What is the inside deal that actually prompted this very international embarrassment on Nigeria? The time stamp starts from 2001, and that is when China and Nigeria signed a bilateral investment treaty to encourage investment between the two countries. So it is not just an Ogun State thing, and it is not about Ogun State on the international arena right now. It is about Nigeria. In 2010, this same Zhongshan firm, through its parent company, acquired the right to develop Ogun Guangdong Free Trade Zone in Ogun State, Nigeria. In 2011, this same Guangdong firm set up locality entity in Nigeria here to manage the development of the free trade zone. The Chinese firm then carried out several works, including development of infrastructure such as roads, sewage, power networks within that very zone. Then in 2012, Ogun State appointed them as the interim manager of that very industrial zone. Now in 2013, a joint venture agreement was signed, making this Chinese firm a permanent manager of that very particular free trade zone and giving it a majority shareholding in the project. In 2016, Ogun State abruptly terminated the Chinese firm's appointment and took actions to expel the company and its officials from Nigeria, including harassment of the executives and revocation of their immigration papers. They were actually tortured according to the allegations coming from the United States court. Then in 2017, the Chinese firm initiated an arbitration proceedings against Nigeria, not just Ogun State, against Nigeria, claiming breach of bilateral investment treaty. Then, very recently in 2021, March precisely, the tribunal chaired by Lord Numbed, that is the former president of the UK Supreme Court, ruled that Nigeria breached its obligations under the China-Nigeria bid and issuing a final award of the sum that we are talking about today, totaling amount about $70 million US. And fast forward to today being 2024, we know that efforts of the federal government to amicably resolve the dispute between the Ogun State and the Chinese firm were fruitless. Tinubu couldn't do it. And then in 2023, Nigerians sought what they called a state immunity in a legal case, but was denied by the High Court in the UK, which ruled that the country had exceeded the time limit for appealing arbitral awards. Now, this UK Court of Appeal upheld the same $70 million US arbitration award against Nigeria. Now, as part of its efforts to recover the funds, the company secured interim charging orders over the two Liverpool properties owned by the Nigerian government in June and August of last year. Nigeria argued that the properties were used for consular services as against Nigerian officials, thus granting them immunity from seizure. However, the court dismissed this claim, finding that the properties had not been used for diplomatic purposes in over 34 years. It means that Nigeria has left these very buildings that they want to seize for 34 years useless. Evidence presented showed one property to be in a dilapidated state with no consular activities taking place on either property. 2024, let's bring it forward so that we can get this done. The United States Court of Appeal for the District of Columbia affirmed the enforceability of the arbitration award. Now, Nigeria then challenged the enforcement, but the court held that it has the jurisdiction to enforce the arbitral award under the U.S. sovereign Immunities Act. And that is what the ruling of the US court entails. And finally, Bola Tinubu is deprived of all the aircraft, even the new one that he has bought. But now he has begged the Chinese firm to just release one, so that he can be able to travel to France and have a discussion with the France President Macron. And of course, the Chinese people who said that they are just releasing it for the sake of the continued talk, so that they can use their presidential discussions to release their money or resolve the issue. So Tinubu has pleaded. But one thing is for certain, the Chinese people seems to have forgotten the torture they went on in Nigeria. And my thinking is that Tinubu might be tricking the Chinese by getting that very presidential jet, the one he needs the most, to go to France and then come back and pound it in Nigeria. Well, whatever are your comments at this very time, go to the comment section. Tell us what you think is going on about the confiscation of Nigerian properties all abroad. And also tell us what you think about the continuous borrowing that the Tinubu's administration has been going on in the last 1 year. The IMF has been owed like never before. The World Bank has been giving them money like never before. Tell us what will come out of this, since a firm can confiscate Nigerian properties abroad. Thank you all as we go into this discussion. Let's start with Lord Kingsley. Lord K, you've heard it. I just have to break it down to our audience because a lot of people said they need to know the timeline of this deal, the insider story of what transpired. And please, as you want to make your own observation and comment on it, I also want you to come up with that very, say your own opinion on the police going on rampage or the protest that the police want to do. Why haven't the police, why didn't they join the End Bad Governance? Is now that they want to start another one? Should we all join the police, or should we stay and let them go and do it by themselves and probably tear gas themselves as they go on?
Good evening, fellow Nigerians. Good evening, Obidient family around the world, and everyone in the studio and on Zoom. I'm a bit. I just can't stop laughing since I heard that news of the police going on their own protest now. So, what happened in Nigeria from the 1st to the 10th was not their business. So are they trying to tell us now that they are not part of the economy of Nigeria? They were not present, or they have been absent only to take orders to go and shoot tear gas and shoot people. So it's now that that it has dawned on them that, oh, there's hunger in the land. So now they just realize the time to pay school fees is coming. Time to pay house rent is coming, and they need to feed as well. Well, anyway, I don't see them as police officers anyway. I don't see them as police officers, because police officers are supposed to be people that are intelligent, people that understand the need of the citizens, people that are there to protect life and property, and then to save you when you need help. But the one we have there, I think they're only clever at roadblocks. So what it's now, they now understand that, oh, there's hunger. So the 5,000 or 10,000 that their guy have given them to go out to protest has expired. So that is why they are coming out now. That is why they know that, oh, they want to start their own protests. How many days? Just eight or 9 days from when the citizens actually came out. Now they want to do their own. I hope they let Nigerians know, so that we should go and block them in, put them in one place, let them be protesting in that place there. Let them protest inside their barracks. Give us the guns and the tear gases. Let's go for them as well. Let's shoot them tear gas. and let them understand what they put Nigerians through. Because what is good for the guy is good for the Ganda as well.
Yeah, okay. Let's quickly, let's quickly treat the issue of the Chinese, the risk that they are taking by releasing the one presidential jet to Tinubu. Don't you think it's a big risk they are taking? Do they think that Nigerian, after having failed them in different circumstances, will now return that very jet? Or do you think that Tinubu meant well by begging them to release one of the presidential jets?
Mr. Kanu, you don't mess about with these Chinese people. Don't mess about. They have obliged to let Tinubu travel with this one jet they've released because they have a plan as well. If the talks do not go well, trust me, Tinubu will not be coming back in that jet. He will be hiring another jet to come back, or he will have to stay in Paris. They know exactly what they've arranged, and they know how they're going to execute everything. Tinubu has failed them, even though it's not during his time. That is where this whole agreement or this whole negotiation started. But he, on his own, has shown inaptitude towards this whole agreement. Right from when Buhari was there, that was when this whole contract started. That was when this whole agreement came into place. But he's the one that's going to suffer it. Because in as much as he doesn't have human feelings for Nigerians, he doesn't have human feelings for anybody, they are going to be displaying the same thing towards him. They just lured him out. They've lured him out of the country so that he can come and suffer. You just have to wait and see.
I have another question. You know, Tinubu, we went to the UK court, we lost. Nigeria also went to the US court and lost, even to the appeal level and lost. So finally, it is just talking about that this money we are talking about must be paid. And again, I want you to what you think about Tinubu's owning. Just yesterday when he wanted to travel, that we now saw that he drove in with a 2024 Cadillac Escalade. And of course, we know it must be armored for that. And what is coming with the reports that are in is that that very Cadillac Escalade is worth close on 1 trillion naira. And Tinubu is telling Nigerians to be patient with him, that he understands that there is hunger in the land. So I don't know your thoughts on this, because it's really, I mean, when I saw the picture of this 2024 Cadillac Escalade, I shuddered. I was thinking that the presidents in Nigeria, all what they have used has been some sort of Mercedes-Benz and stuff like that to go to the airport. But why going to this extreme luxury in the detriment of the masses in Nigeria?
He's doing that just to provoke Nigerians. Because like I said before on this program, that the way the protest actually went, Tinubu and his troop, they are not happy about it. They wanted the country to burn down. He set up his own anti-protesters to come and attack Nigerians that were protesting for good governance. So that they will be fighting, they will be killing, they'll be burning and everything. But it didn't go that way. Nigerians were sensible. They didn't react that way. So he's not happy. So a lot of things are playing out right now. Now, the Court of Appeal that it came in the UK, in the US, and Europe, does he think that those judges are like the idiots he has in Nigeria? Does he think they are like them? Where you bribe a judge to give you a judgment? Does he think that he can actually do that anywhere outside Nigeria? The answer is absolutely no. So that is why he lost every case he put out outside Nigeria. he lost every case. Because you cannot influence a judge. In every other country, in every other nation, they have 3 tiers of government. But in Nigeria, it's only one they have. Which, of course, the executive, they control the judiciary and they control the parliament everywhere. They don't have any other, there's nothing like the 3 arms of government. They don't have it in Nigeria. But every other country, they operate in that way. Tinubu has no way he's going to win any case outside of Nigeria anywhere.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me quickly
get our own Reverend Pete, who just joining us. Reverend Pete, I need to get your opinion on this Tinubu Cadillac Escalade 2024. Close on 1 trillion naira, and Tinubu is telling Nigerians that he understands the nature of hunger in the land, while he is just acquired a brand new Cadillac Escalade just to drive him from the Vela to Abuja Airport. What are your thoughts on this?
Thank you, Kanu, for having me, and I want to thank the listeners wherever you are for being a part. Look, sometimes I am surprised that you people don't know what that man is capable of doing. This man is not interested for whatever the Nigerians are doing or saying, because this man knows clearly that nobody voted for him. He knows that he did not win that election.
Correct.
If we were to go by the true result, and so even that is why he's trying to bring everybody on board. Don't you see? He concentrated on the judiciary and the National House of Assembly, so that he'll be able to bring them to his side, because is doing all this for 2027. We all should understand that man is just a game player. People said he have knowledge. That man is a crook, and so all he knows is how to manipulate, and he knows that when coming the election, he knows that he's not going to hold anything. You see, the amount this man has been spending, while he come to tell Nigerians should be patient, is exactly what was responsible for this past demonstration, which is not the beginning of the things to come. Because the one that is coming, even the police will not be able to stop it. Because the police themselves, if press don't take it, they are going to join. Because I now see, they say what is good for the geese is good for the gator. Now, the same police that was chasing protesters about with tear gas and this thing, are they not coming up now? They should better stop, because if they don't want to lose their job, they better stop.
We will tear gas them as well.
They better stop, because the masses are going to stand up against them. So that it's not going to be a cold war between the citizen and the police, because they said the man is doing well. So there is no way you come out now to protest. And this man is buying all these luxury things in order. Look, there is a language that this man spoke from the beginning. He said, "A miracle." That means it's my turn, and the purpose of turn is to receive, not to give. So he came to take from Nigerians, not to work for Nigerians. That, when you say it's my turn, which means your turn is to receive. So you come to receive. So the man came to take away all that Nigeria has with the broom that the APC brought. They sweep away the economic of Nigerians and bring in hardship and suffering, hunger and poverty. So we should know about this man from now. How can you go on to buy such with such expensive. You cannot imagine it. Because why? You has seen
no other government in the world is using that kind of car. No other government. Even the U.S.
That is the problem. And you are saying there is no money. And every of your step is like a father telling the children, I cannot pay your school fees because I do not have money. And every day, either I brought in with a woman with different kind of food or he stage a party and they ask him, I think you say you don't have money. He said, no, I don't have money. I'm just managing. So you have to manage. How do you want the children to manage when they are not seeing you managing? When they are drinking garri, you yourself you will be eating chicken. You said there's no money that they should manage. Even if they cannot do anything, they already know that you are playing game with them, and that's exactly what this man is doing against Nigeria. Because this man know that coming 2027, there may be no way for him. So everything that he can do to frustrate the country is what he's doing now. So every one of us should. Don't you see? He brought a Wike to FCT.
Okay. Before we get into that,
Reverend Pete, I want you to also tell me your thoughts on the release of the presidential jet. Like I said earlier, please, because of our time.
See, because they know what they are doing. Can't you see the Wike just come to that place? He want to rule FCT as a minister, like he ruled a river as a governor, which is impossible because these people do not have human sense. They do not have. Okay, look at I listened to the comment of the response of the August governor, who was responsible for all this quagmire that trespass with the Chinese people. It do not have exactly reason to explain why they fail. Because when you sign contract, whether locally or internationally, you are bound to oppose to it. You see, what they are doing to Nigeria is what they think they can do to any other part of the world. So, and as they ignore Nigeria, that is what. Okay, you go to court. This case failed, and the case was against you. Then you go again, and the case was against you. You did not do anything. You did not go into an arrangement or maybe into consensus with the people that you have the case with. You went and sit down. Do you want to tell me that Tinubu did not aware of this thing? He's aware. He knows about it. And so, since then, even the governor, even though he's not part of it, is aware. So, because whatsoever the governor does, the successive governors are going to inherit it, whether good or bad. And so, this is exactly what is happening. You see, Mr. Kanu, I heard when you said Tinubu might want to trick them so as to bring the jet, one of the jet back. Look, even if he succeeded in bringing it back, if he tricked them, it's going to ignite fire. Because not only the jet, they have targeted 4 countries when Nigeria have their possession, which they say they are going to confiscate. And the court is giving them an authority because the Nigeria seems not to be doing anything about it. So the court has given an enforcement to their judgment because they thought what they are doing here, where court say no, they go against the court and the thing died when somebody steal. And when the court when they go to the investigation and they will cover it up and they will say when you are in APC, your sins are forgiven. They thought that is how the rest of the world are. They do not know that Europe and Western world, they are different in their thought because they focus in whatever they are doing. They want to do it not to the glory of themselves, but to the glory of that country, of their country.
All right.
Not as Nigerians.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend. Thank you so much. Let's take Tony's opinion on this.
Please, while quickly our time is up, I want to know what your thoughts are on this very announcement by the Chinese firm that they are releasing one of the Nigerian presidential jets that was seized as a sign of a gesture, a good gesture to Nigeria that they are willing to have a good discussion with them for Tinubu to visit the president of France. So it means that one of the presidential jets will be released from France to come and convert Bola Tinubu to France. Do you really think that after this very visit that Bola Tinubu is going to deal with these very issues amicably, or you think that having seen the Escalade that he is now riding, the armored Escalade that is shown on, not just shown by reports but by pictures, that Tinubu really thinks or meant well again for Nigerians, as he always said that he is aware of the hardship that is going on in Nigeria. So these two things, just quickly tell us your thoughts and your opinion on it, please.
Please.
Thank you so much. I keep saying that when they said elections have consequences, this is what we are talking about. But it's still the election by any means. The person will act like he's a god. He's entitled to it, and there's nothing you can do. Now that he has control of the paramilitary, he can use them against you. He can do about whatever he wants to do because of the powers the presidency have. So he's enjoying himself, telling others, telling the masses to give him time, endure. Things will be okay. There is light at the end of the tunnel. At the same time, him and his colleagues are doing whatever they want to do with our money. Throwing parties, traveling all over the world, and we're here suffering.
Yeah.
Look at
Tony, let's get to the talk of the two, the presidential jet and the Escalade. There is so much, of course, we understand that has come.
Escalade. That's the type of car he's driving. What can you do about it? There's nothing you can do because he's now the president, so he can spend your money anyhow, any way he wants, and feels that there's nothing you can do. So, and the jet itself, well, maybe the Chinese have empathy. They say, okay, that doesn't end the case. Just take the jet, come to France, maybe negotiate, and that's it. That's exactly what it is. Nigeria is in a bind. They are holding Nigeria throat. There's nothing we can do except to negotiate and pay, since we've lost in the court of law.
Right.
So
Yes.
Nigeria, we are heading nowhere, and it's about time that the citizens
Hollywood
figure out a way to take back their country from these crooks. We have to. It's no more question of talking, analyzing, conferences, but what is the way forward? What are we going to do to snatch back our sovereignty from these crooks? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Tony. Let me quickly jump in on here. We have Christian Oche from
Christian, please, I want you to tell us your thoughts on this. Especially, I keep talking about, I mentioned trillion on the Cadillac. My bad on that. The Cadillac Escalade is estimated to be about 1 billion from the estimate that is just been sent in to me. So do you think it is right for Chief Bola Tinubu to have acquired a Cadillac Escalade, bulletproof and all of that in the midst of hunger in Nigeria? Do you think he really understands the enormity of the kind of hardship that is in this country? Please tell us this, and of course, whether the Chinese people who are allowing him to or releasing the said one of the aircraft belonging to Nigeria, whether they are making a mistake. Please give us your thought quickly, as our time is quickly running.
You quickly, please. Our time is really running.
Like I was saying, I said Chinese firm usually they don't release loan that is favorable to the receiving countries. Nigerian government under the APC have been falling loosely for Chinese loan. Can you hear me?
Yes,
yes, please go ahead.
Okay, they've been falling loosely for Chinese loans since 2015 till date. So I don't expect much to change, but they've come to realize that it's high time for them to tidy up and recoup their money. That's why they are now applying that method of holding back presidential jets and all that. Come to think about it, why should Nigeria have 3 presidential jets lying in France? Is France now the Aso Rock? So this is one thing that Nigerians need to think about. Why are we having 3 presidents? Why 3 presidential jets in France? Another thing, the cost of the newly acquired vehicle is with 1 billion naira. If well judiciously distributed to Nigerian farmers, the young farmers, to encourage the agricultural endeavor, you can only imagine the turnout after the farming season. So Nigerian government is not really interested in solving the hunger situation. They are only interested in living large.
At all.
So that's my take. They are not interested in us. But until the whole population realize that these people are not really there for us, then before we can collectively fight for our freedom. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. That's coming from Christian. And final words, Lord K. I
want to bring to your attention, you are not so close yesterday when we were talking about the senators and the House of Reps and all whatnot. That yesterday you came in briefly, but I just want to get as your final closing for us to. We are trying to move towards using the House of Rep and the senators representing all the constituents in Nigeria as representatives of the people to actually get an amendment to the Electoral Act, and of course for these constituents to ask questions as it concerns the constituency projects and also the issue of the palliative that are now made known as audio coming from the federal government. Please, your final words on that.
Well, in as much as I am not in support of whatever is happening right there, whatever is going on in Nigeria and how they are deliberating about it, yes, it's about time. It's about time that, yes, we the citizens, we start asking our executives, we start asking our senators, start asking members of assembly what they are actually there and what they are doing. Because they're not just there to go and start, go and shout J and A for anything that comes to them. They should have what the citizens are demanding on their table, on their desk. These letters should be submitted to them either in a soft manner or in a hard manner for them to take back to their offices and submit or ask the Senate. How on earth can you now stand to be re-elected next time. When for under the first year that you've been in this position, you have done nothing. All you go there is just go shout yes and nay. The president is passing different bills through, and there's nobody counteracting any of these bills. You just go in there to just shout yes and nay. Now is the time that we should start asking what we are there all about. The Escalade that the government has gone to buy right now, that is riding. When did that Escalade enter the country? How did it enter the country? They stopped them from buying the part of that money to buy this Escalade and brought it into the country unknowingly. The custom will not say they don't know about it. This Escalade has not been in Nigeria since the last 1 year. It has not been. This actually came in this year. How did it get in? So, gentlemen and ladies, we have a problem in that country that we need to solve. Yeah. There's a problem we need to solve, and the solution has to start right now.
Yeah, and you know the focus mostly has been on the presidential jet.
But at the same time, there are other councillor buildings that are in the UK that are said to have been seized also. And of course, they said that the court also ruled that those premises has not been used for over 34 years. So meaning that we have those assets that should have been long sold out by the government, but they left them out. And that should be in different parts of the world, because the Chinese has exposed Nigerians now to know that there are different facilities and different infrastructures of Nigeria that are in different countries that they are going to repossess. Well, that is much we can say about this. We'll be looking at the reports that will be coming in, even the Tinubu's travel to France. But at the same time, I will tell Nigerians my take in all of this. My take in all of this is that the Electoral Act of 2023 that was just used at the last election needs to be amended, needs to be reviewed by the National Assembly. And to do that, we all in all our constituencies has to move to all our representatives to make sure that that is done. We were deceived by the umpire, by INEC, and by the government that electronically that the votes are going to be transmitted, but it never was. If we continue to fold our hands and wait till 2027, the same scenario is going to play out. I call on all Nigerians, I call on well-meaning Nigerians across all constituencies, across all senatorial districts to come together and move to meet with our elected officials to make sure that we move them, to move the National Assembly to have a change in that Electoral Act, and make sure that votes coming on this time around must be transmitted electronically, directly from the polling units. That is as much I will say. But tomorrow, I'll continue to bring that. And on each day, I'm going to bring you one section of the other that should be amended in that Electoral Act. Or else to put up a very solid action point that INEC nor the courts will no longer misinterpret, which must be done electronical transmission, electronic. The way they stated it, the way it should be implemented, that is the way we want it to go. And until tomorrow, when we continue our discussion on this, bye for now.